What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Trademark YouTube channel. Today, we're doing something a little different, and honestly, it's long overdue. If you've been around on Stephen's channel for a while, you know that I'm all about breaking down the craft, looking at what actually goes into independent work, and also just having fun and discussing music. So today we're going to be talking to Stephen about how he puts in his work ethic, how he puts in his work, how he built a catalog, and how he's carving out his own path on his terms, authentically.
Doing it different.
So we're going to be, in this interview, talking about his journey, some of the grind he goes through, and his perspectives on everything he's gone through, and what he's thinking about right now at this point in his life, and some of the stories behind the music and his journey. So let's get into it. Let's
get it.
This is my interview with Trademark-S and his...
And thank you for doing this, Ben.
I appreciate it. So really, I want to forge this interview in two parts. I want to have a part one and a part two. Part one is going to be 5 questions, and part two is also going to be another 5 questions. And part one, I've themed this really as how your craft, how you built your craft, and how you continue to evolve it throughout the years.
I like the word choice.
Yeah.
And also, just so the people know, I have no idea what these questions are. These have not been shared with me ahead of time, so these are all going to be completely fresh to me.
All right. Well, so let's look back to from year 22, the World Trade Show, all the way through.
Great album.
You know, some of your career milestones up to this point. How has... through all of your work, how is your definition of authentic music and being an authentic creator, how has it evolved and how has it changed?
Well, really, a lot of the authenticity not only comes from what I choose to write about, which is things that happen in the real world and things that are very dark and taboo and that sort of thing, to kind of expose them to a new light and a new sort of audience, like world issues and that sort of thing. I've talked about genocides, I've talked about drug abuse and things that actually happen in the world and my views on them. And also the authenticity is in that if I make a mistake in a recording and it's still a really good take, I'm going to keep that take in there. Like, for example, with Elementary off of Epic Poetry, I had a mistake in the acapella where the line was, "What a true rebel, what a born rebel," and I had to read it twice because I read it wrong the first time. And I just said, read it back, and then I read it again. And, people really liked that, and I really liked that because it showed that, you can have the art, but you're not a perfect person. And that is something that is really not shown in music these days. Everything has to be perfect. There's perfectionism, there's overproducing, there's people that rely on super producers and things like that. Like people like Tay Keith, R.I.P., just passed away. People like 100 Gram, not throwing any shade. People like Metro Boomin, these super producers, DJ Khaled, and they pair up with these guys and basically get the cosign. And then once they get the cosign, they start making music together almost exclusively. And a lot of the music that is made by these super producers is very, very, very tight and concise. And a lot of my music is very much not that. It's very much stream of consciousness and very much written as something that is more so about the message than about making something to make money or something that is exclusively to be a product. That's not my goal with my music. My music is to be artistic and to also be worldly. And that's where the keep it real, keep it authentic really comes in. And it's really staying true to myself and true to my worldview, and acknowledging things that happen in the world that are not good, and not only looking at the bright side, because the bright side can lead people into kind of like a false kind of peachy reality of the world that we live in. You know what I mean? And I would say that that is where keep it real, keep it authentic really shines within my work.
So that's interesting. So really, your viewpoint on authenticity is what I would think is very raw, very much
Yes.
in the moment, but also at the same time being as honest as possible, but not from a
And true to yourself.
yes, but not for
Yes.
you're being as honest as possible about worldly events and about your life and about your viewpoints on your life and your perspectives. But
Absolutely.
you're not coming at it from a uh, high and mighty point of view. You are simply just expressing maybe some of your feelings in the moment.
Exactly. I'm not trying to push my views on anybody. And when I use scripture and that sort of thing, I'm not trying to push it on anybody. I'm just trying to use something that is relevant, that I feel, to convey what is going on and my views on it.
Well, see, that's interesting because that kind of feeds into like another question that I was thinking about. Something while listening to your music, when you sit down and you construct a track, and I've got a little bit of personal insight into this, but I don't have the full picture. Whether you're writing something that's what I would call a super artistic, maybe a higher kind of concept, or something just very simple, very raw, like a song like Venting. What is
Good take right there. I venting is one of my favorites that I've done. Okay, continue, sorry.
But so I guess my question really is like, what is the first sort of sparks? What are the first elements that kick off the entire concept?
Okay, so usually a lot of studying goes in beforehand for things that are about worldly topics, but songs that are about like venting, that is specifically a song letting out my emotions towards the hate that I was seeing in my comments, which I actually have several songs about that, and responding to specific comments that people said. And so that's where the research went into, that was getting quotes and responses. And also I had a producer that I had not worked with yet, but was working with on a Babysitter remix with Index that we did, which is a DaBaby song that he did with Offset. And we put that together with the sound bar, and I did venting with the sound bar, and I sent him an acapella. So the entire thing was done as an acapella, and then basically he put the breaks and the line spacings in there, and he made the instrumental himself, and it was awesome. So a lot of the stuff that was in venting specifically is about my own emotions and what I'm feeling towards a specific stigma, being the comment section.
Well, I get that, I think that's such a fascinating way to do art. It's almost like
Thank you.
it's a piece that comes to you. It's like one or two things, and then suddenly it sparks off this, almost like this domino effect of kind of falling, and it all just sort of eventually comes into place. So I think like a good follow-up question here is, behind the scenes with all this workflow that you have, you have a personal life, you have a musical life, you have, I'm sure, many friendships and all this stuff with other people and responsibilities,
Yeah.
of course. I was wondering.
More than the people know, of course. Yes,
Right.
I actually get around quite a lot. I'm not just a homebody.
Yeah. Yeah. So my question is, behind the scenes, what is the workflow of making and releasing art, and how do you keep your creative fires alive when burnout is so rampant in this day and age?
Okay, so the way that I avoid burnout is just keep myself inspired. So what I like to do is several years ago, my grandfather's caregiver, Angela Brady, and I went to the bin store in Culpeper, which is nearby. And it's basically a thrift store where people bring in returned items and you sift around and it's $1 a pop. So I got a whole bunch of used books that were specifically either really bad or specifically write your own books. And I got these books that would just specifically be stories about something negative, like the mayor of Flint, Michigan, or like romance novel about a girl who's in love with specifically a knight's sword, and that's all you want to know because it's really gross. And like very negative, interesting stories. But also, I will go back and read these and somewhat reread them every now and again. And also, I like to go on drives just about daily. I like to take the scenic route and just be inspired by the beautiful landscape that is rural Virginia, USA. And just drive the back roads and see if I see anything new, see if I see people I know, and just listen to music and sing along, rap along, whatever I'm listening to.
Sounds like
And
you love to
yeah, I
pace
just
yourself.
I stay inspired that way, and I work on like 40 songs at a time. I have more than 500 songs on my YouTube channel and more than 100 released publicly on my DistroKid. And I also have like over 700 unreleased songs that may never see the light of day. Stuff that I'm still working on, stuff that has lyrics and no beats, stuff that has a beat and no lyrics, beats that I've made for other people that they haven't used yet that are sitting on my computer, lyrics I've written for other people. I ghostwrite. I do ghostwrite, and you have heard several of my verses if you listen to rap music. And I basically just get around with that way, and I keep it secretive, and I basically am just staying inspired by keeping myself busy with more concepts and more music to work on. So I probably have about 40 to 50 songs that I'm currently working on, not every day, but just like over the course of, I think the oldest one I started probably 7 years ago.
Okay. So that's you. That's sort of like you like to pace yourself. You like to keep inspired.
Exactly.
I was wondering.
But also release all the time. I like to release regularly, and I also like to put out stuff that I do that is fresh and new, that I literally just put together for the session or for the recording, and put that out. And I like to do that as well, and just keep it pumping, keep my foot on the gas rather than the brake.
Yeah, yeah. Always moving, always keeping moving. Well, you see, that's interesting, because I was going to ask you, and now this question is going to get pretty interesting, because I was going to ask you, if you have a new listener that's, say, on Spotify, and you come up in the feed.
I have a lot of those right now, so this is a very relevant question.
Well, which single track do you think best encapsulates who you are as an artist? And why or why not do you think that may be?
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going through my songs in my head right now. And if this is a new Spotify listener, I have to think specifically my Spotify songs, so I can't think of my YouTube songs. But if I were to go with my YouTube songs, I would go with Random On, featuring T Dizzle, which is my channel trailer. And if I were to go with Spotify, Dreamer, because it's a song all about me and making music, and how a relationship that I had with friends that I used to work with, particularly at the Fauquier SPCA, one particular friend fell apart. And that is what Dreamer is about, and it's very me. It's very, very me. It's very simple. It's very minimalist, but the beat freaking slaps. It slaps. And I was completely sober when I was doing that one, because it happened while I was on my detox that was on the Twisted Mind 2 detox, when I went for an entire month without anything, which was crazy. Well, I did buy Moscato like halfway through because I was going nuts, but practically nothing. And yeah, Random On, because it's a song that we wrote about our childhood, that T Dizzle is my best friend Sam Sandler, and my name is Stephen Moran for the people out there. And we grew up together since we were like 6 years old, and we had this game that we used to do, like Pokemon or Digimon, where we would draw our own cards, and we called it Random On. So we named it Random On, and the first verse was about how we were when we were kids, and then this verses kind of just divulged from there into how greed affects us as adults. And then at the end, he does a little story in Spanish about it's this really fucked up story about when he was on mission in Argentina, because he was a missionary for 2 years. He saw a group of dogs, bum effing another dog, and it had a prolapsed butthole, like a pink sock. And that came up because we were talking about the fucking pink sock. If you don't know what that is, don't look it up. Don't look it up. It will scar you for life. And we put in a little Spanish verse that ended in super prolapse, so because it sounds really fucking funny. And that song is probably my favorite song on my YouTube channel right now. My favorite song that I've ever made is definitely Ricochet, produced by Pendo46.
Do you think it's fair to say that a good majority of your music is a complex balance between deep storytelling and reflective components, from maybe your personal life, or from the perspective of somebody else, or from the perspective of history?
Yes. So in lots of my early work, I liked to do slow storytelling songs where it's specifically telling a story, and I don't do that as much anymore, although Hero's Journey was a callback to that off of Trademark Slam, where it's just telling a story. But in a faster, more condensed rap styled format. But songs like Comatose Dreams, Comatose Skyward, and The Overdose, those ones were very built off of specific imagery that I kind of just conjured up in my head of things that were really, really messed up that I've actually seen in my life, and to somehow introduce it into that format. And the scene where it's like supposed to be I'm falling into a hole and Jesus drops me my glasses while I'm standing on the beach. It's the imagery that I use is he says shalom, which is, peace be with you, something Jesus says. So people didn't really put that together for a long time, but that's what that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be finding Jesus on the beach. But also, I like to invoke those really deep storytelling elements and use specific plot points as imagery, and use actual words and onomatopoeias, like sound words, to invoke, and also like personification, and like giving things like almost like a type of adjective glow, like whether it's like saying, oh, this thing's glowing, or there's brightness coming from it, to be like invoke like this is a major plot point, look at this, look at that there. That's how I like to put together my storytelling. Can you repeat the second part of the question, because I've kind of gone a little bit off track on the first part, but I need the second part one more time.
No, I was just asking, a lot of your work has very deep storytelling and a lot of reflection on your life.
Reflective. Yes. So these are all themes of things that I've seen before, whether it's on the good or the bad side of the spectrum of events within the story. Like specifically the guy with the crack pipe in his right hand and the knife in his left, and toothless smile with a toothpick hanging out. Smoking crack rock makes your teeth fall out, and it also makes you short on money, so you want to rob people. So it's putting that together, and it's like, oh, would you see that person on the stairway to hell? Probably. So that's where like that stuff comes from. But deep reflective storytelling themes, I like to bring in specific themes from the darker parts of the world as well. And also I like to bring in themes that might invoke feelings from your childhood, specifically, like sports, or like a specific actor, or a specific feeling or smell or sound. I like to use that, and I've used that a lot in like mixtape rap stuff, where I get very introspective, like Three Faces of Trade mixtape and Searching for Myself mixtape. You'll hear a lot of those certain reflective types of themes in my lyrics for those projects specifically. If you go back, like songs like Rehab, yeah, so you'll definitely hear it in songs like Big Dreams Coming of Age, which is like a 17-minute song. Good God.
Where do you draw the line, between your artistry and your your real life? Because I'm sure there's kind of going back into it a little bit, but really tackling it from a more personal really hyper personal perspective, private. How do you keep the private and the public separated? Is there a line there, or is it blurred?
So
What's going on there?
it's not like multiple personalities, but it's like a thing that you have to know how to act in a specific situation. So a lot of times I'll split it into like a certain um, realms of life where I've talked about this as well a lot on Three Faces of Trade, which is also getting a whole lot of talking here right now. But specifically the split between Stephen, which is my professional life, Steve, which is my personal life, and Trade, which is my music life, and how people treat you in each specific, and how you should act in each specific. So there is a line that you have to draw there. And I feel that the way to really do that is just by clarifying what you want to be called. So people at work call me Steven. People at the pub call me Steve. People at the store call me Steve. People at jams call me Trade, or they call me S, or they call me Mark, and I go by all of that, or they call me Steve, and I go by all of that. So it's kind of just separation. But yeah, that's pretty much where that is. And there's another one that is mixed, but we won't get into that right now because that's street stuff.
Okay, so that's more or less addressing sort of Stephen's craft when it comes
Yes.
regarding to Trademark-S and his journey and how it's evolved. Now I want to get into the second part of this interview, Stephen. And I really want to set the stage here and forge the next part of this conversation, really focusing in on your life, how you've grown, and your perspectives on 2026 with how complicated everything is. So I guess everything is so much more complicated now, and being
and expensive,
exactly. Being any sort of creator in today's landscape, because of digitization and the internet, you have to have hundreds of different hats. You have to have hundreds of hours in a 24-hour day, seemingly. You have to have multiple hands, multiple feet, multiple organs, multiple brains. What has been some of the harder lessons of the music and especially the media, that grind? What has those lessons taught you thus far?
So, very first important lesson that I had to learn was the internet isn't gonna love you like people love you, because the internet is a very brutal place. It's a very snaky place. It's a very brutally honest place. And it's a place where you can't understand the tone of what people are saying because it is all in text form. And the thing that I had to learn coming in as a person that was relatively popular in school, as a person that was truly coming from nothing, but, their skin tone was something that was assumed was not coming from nothing, born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and really being told that you have to prove yourself even though people already knew who I was, like locally and like from school. And that was a really, really hard lesson to learn. And one that it took me several years to realize that if people are just going to be jerks to you constantly, just block them. Nothing's going to happen if you block the person. People were all on me about how, oh, Steve, you say that you run a free speech platform over here on your Facebook page, but now you've started blocking people because they're saying things that you don't like. The difference is they're saying things that are untrue and saying things that are targeted and hurtful, which is why they're getting blocked, okay? The people that say things that are meant to be funny or meant to rile me up, I'm not worried about that because that's always going to be there. But the people that are specifically hating just to be hating, that was something that was really, 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 really hard to learn. And a lesson that I learned over time was just block those people. Just get rid of those people. You don't need that negativity. You don't need that negativity, Steve. And as soon as I got rid of those people and started going to therapy, I started getting my mental right. And you had no idea how much it wore on my mental, but I was just like a crazy, crazy dude for a little while there. Like from the time that I was like 22 until the time that I was like 26, I was totally nuts. I was going through some stuff. But I have gotten through that and learned from that. And that's something that's important. And another lesson that I had to learn was even if you reach out to artists to collaborate, they're not always going to collaborate, even if they say that they will. And you just can't take that stuff to heart because there's stuff that happens in everybody's life behind the scenes, and sometimes you can commit to things that you actually cannot handle. And there are lots of people in the past that I signed up to do this, that, the other, or they signed up to do this, that, the other, and then they either didn't send me the beat or they never sent me vocals back or anything like that. So, I mean, it happens all the time, and I see plenty of artists get very mad about it, and I used to get mad about it myself, but there's something that you just have to understand, that everybody has their own life. Some of these guys have a wife and kids outside, okay? Some of these guys take care of a family member. Like I took care of a family member for the first 5 years of my career. Some of these people have like divorces going on outside and stuff. You can't really take anything, okay, that is like seen as a denial and just blame it on that person, because there's things that go on in that person's life that you can't see. And also when you do that, it hurts the relationship between you and that artist, which is something that you don't want to do, because then down the line in the future, that artist is not going to call you back. That artist is not going to want to work with you. Like, it's something that you have to learn, and it's something that maturity will teach you. Maturity and time. But it's something that every artist really, really has to learn.
Yeah, I mean, just as an example, I mean, we've had multiple conversations. I've even had in my own like personal, kind of like artistic directions that I've wanted to take. Just things completely would fall through, and you can't like being on the, you know, the side of like, we've tried to set up stuff before and a lot of it just falls through. Like I would say a majority of it. And it's just kind of like, yeah. Like sometimes like I'll just message you. I'll be like, I just don't have time to do it. I thought, you know, like I could handle this, but you know, I couldn't handle it. And
when it's you and me, I can realize, yeah, that's Ben, you know, C Tactics, you know, big time YouTuber guy. I can understand that he probably has a lot on his plate.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I want to take the conversation. We just really had a conversation about the internet. Let's take it and let's go 20 million feet into the air. Let's go to outer space.
Boy.
Let's look at planet Earth. Let's look at the current cultural and creative climate
so high up
of 2026. What is inspiring you right now to keep pushing forward? And conversely, what is exhausting you the most about the industry?
What is inspiring me right now is how good the artists in my state are, and seeing just how good the product is from these other artists and making me want to step my game up. That's really inspiring me right now. Right down the road, I mean, you have 1.5 billion streams or whatever with Nick, and then way down the road, and I shouldn't be calling him Nick. I should be calling him Nick D because we've only like met twice in passing, and it was several years ago, so I doubt he even remembers who I am. However, Abnormal and Drew have been absolutely killing it. And Sea Life has been absolutely killing it. And Nicholas F. has been absolutely killing it. And Sad Boy Dreams, even though he moved up to West Virginia and is no longer like a truly Virginia artist, he still comes down to this Virginia scene. He's killing it. Schwinn, he's killing it. Teat, he's killing it. I fucking love that. Places, he's killing it. Johnny Three Legs, he's killing it. Bro, this entire scene is on right now. We're all getting like hundreds to thousands to millions to billions of streams. There must be something in the water, and it's really, 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 really keeping that fire lit. You know, I just love to see what we're doing. I love to contribute to it, and I really loved Egyptian. But what Egyptian did, if you don't know about that, he like shot his entire family. I cannot stand by Egyptian anymore, so we're gonna take him off of that list. But I what really kind of slows me down as an artist is when I have lyrics written, and it's not more so like writer's block, but it just slows down the progress. This is something that is a big pet peeve of mine, and I log into Splice to start getting ideas for a beat, and I make Splice a lot. Like, I have millions of streams on Splice, and my name is Trade Mizzle over on Splice if you want to follow me on Splice. And I basically go ahead and start putting a beat together, and then I'm like, oh, this doesn't fit. This isn't going with my lyrics. I don't like this. And then I'll switch the genre. And I'm like, oh, this is cool, but it doesn't fit with the intro. And then I'm like, oh, switch the genre again. It's like, oh, this is cool, but it doesn't work with my bridge. You know, so it's like stuff like that where it's my own creative, I guess, inadequacies. Whenever I start to feel a certain way, it should feel a certain way, is what gets in my way and slows me down when I'm making things. I just get in my own way a lot. And that's something that takes a lot of spine to admit, especially as somebody who pumps out as many songs as I do. I do tend to get in my own way and step on my own toes quite often. And this is something that, you know, I've thought about reaching out to another artist like Harry Mack I've talked to in the past and be like, hey, bro, you got any tips on this? But I'll just have to work with that in time. And, you know, if I need to reach out to another artist, I'll probably reach out and just get some advice on that. But that's where I really get stuck in the mud, is just when I have the idea already there and the idea that I'm doing musically does not work with what I had pictured.
Okay, so I guess let's now go into your life orbit. let's go back. Let's go back to planet Earth. Let's hear about
Oh
Stephen
boy.
and
Fast descent. Fireball.
what.
Parachute. Land in the Pacific Ocean.
Well, let's hear about outside of the vacuum of music, outside of music, outside of producing music. Tell the people what are some of these unexpected hobbies or media obsessions that are outside of music that have heavily influenced how you view your art lately, and I would say generally in 2026.
Bro. Oh, jeez. I watch so much true crime. It probably has fucked up my innocence in life. Uh, I I love to incorporate stuff about like serial killers like Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, and Jeffrey Dahmer, freaking stuff. And it's not because I idolize these people. I think they're absolutely horrible, despicable pieces of shit. But I also think that it makes for something that's quite interesting and thought provoking because you don't understand why these people were the way that they were and why they are the pieces of shit that they were. I also really love basketball and racing. And basketball is a regular theme in my music and always has been. I also am a big fan of football, American football, of course. I'm not talking about soccer. I didn't even watch the World Cup. I don't know who won. I don't know if it's still going on. I don't care, frankly. My favorite teams are the Washington Commanders, the Cleveland Browns, and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I liked the Chiefs before they were good, so don't call me a bandwagon. I also am a huge fan of the Washington Nationals, and I wrote the song Showtime when we made it to the World Series, and it was released after we won the World Series. That was an amazing team that's going to stick with me in my memory forever, 2019. Basketball, I like the Spurs, and I've written a few bars about Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan. I don't know if I've released the Tim Duncan bars now that I think about it, but I might have to look back and see if that's been released. Take a sip of my coffee real fast, clear my throat out. Let me see. I am just like a peruser of Netflix, but that's not really going to be a thing because we canceled our Netflix subscription to save money so that I can, not go broke. This was specifically other than music, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I can't talk about all the musicians I listen to, but I really like Broadway musicals, which is kind of music but more theater. My favorite, Hamilton. I've got Hamilton on my wall. Les Mis is a close second. Les Mis is the only one I've seen live. I really love The Music Man, Pirates of Penzance, Fiddler on the Roof, Jesus Christ Superstar, Lion King, all the classics. Sweeney Todd. I love Sweeney Todd. I can't think of anything else specifically that's from outside of the music sphere that I do indulge in other than true crime, sports, and Broadway. But those are the three main things.
Okay. So now I want to talk about burnout again. But I want to talk about it from a different perspective and really how you view the definition of what creative burnout is. Not just burnout
Creative
in
burnout.
life of just being, burnt out on whatever, generally speaking. I mean more of the process of creating. How would you describe that to someone who maybe isn't a musical artist? Or how would you just, if someone were a musical artist, how would you describe how creative burnout hits you, and what are your go-to methods to sort of reset your brain and help you find that center perspective once again?
So, I'm going to tell you a very possibly long story about the beginning of Steven's 2024, okay? So, at the end of 2023, I was really, really, really feeling just tired and beat up because I was getting constant hate and people leaving bad reviews and fake accounts and people just harassing me on social media. So I decided to take a hiatus for as long as I felt like. And that ended up being 5 months. So during that hiatus, the people at my dog kennel that I was working at the time started treating me differently because I wasn't actively making music. They were like, oh, he quit on us and blah, 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 blah. And then they took the bar from 25, the song Steven, and the bar was I put my dick in her purse, I put my dick in her mouth, I put my dick in her throat, and I put my dick in her lower intestine like a colonoscopy, which is hella gross, and that's kind of the point. It is stolen from a Richard Pryor bit. And the only part that I changed was, and I didn't even switch sides, which is fucking hilarious. And they used that as fuel to fire me. And then I got a crappy job working minimum wage, and I was like, man, this fucking sucks. And I still wasn't making music. And I started promoting my old music to my new friends at work, and then somebody from my old kennel showed up there, and she was just a jerk. And first song that I wrote coming back was a diss track on her, and it was called Every Dog Has His Day. And people freaking went crazy for that. They were like, oh, Trade's back! Blah! Yeah, I think it came out in May. It came out around your birthday, Ben, like you're May 20th, I think, right? May 20th?
Yeah,
So
around
I
that
think
time,
it came
yeah.
out like May 22nd of 2024 was when I ended my hiatus. And I wrote another diss track on her this year called Be Your Memory. So if she's out there, just know that I still don't like you. And you really shouldn't have said that stuff to me because that was not nice. And yeah, that's my story about creative burnout because that's really the only time I've been through it, but like seriously through it. But I have had little stints where I was like, oh, I don't feel like writing today, but I still went and wrote.
Okay. So we finally arrived to sort of our final question. And I think it's we always always the main event is always the one that everybody wants to see. It's the thing that everybody wants to hear. It's the easiest one, it's the most obvious one. So forgive me.
Yeah.
But looking into the future, let's look into the next chapter of what is
Ooh,
Trademark-S. What is one
flux
major
capacitor.
what is a major creative risk or a project that you haven't tackled yet that you're
Fuck yeah.
dying, you're fiending to bring to life and that you're just waiting for the right time?
Since I started, I have wanted to do an instrumental album showcasing my drums. And I haven't figured out how I want to do that yet, but one day I'm going to figure that out, and one day you guys are going to get it, and it's going to be so metal, you're going to go crazy. You're not going to get that classic hip hop vibe out of that album. You're going to get some heavy metal bullshit, okay? And it's going to be amazing, and you're going to love it. But I just have to figure out how I'm going to do it, and what chops I want to use, and how I'm going to make it not sound like I'm just playing drums in my basement like I do on those videos, and how to put a form together for these specific things. But it will come one day. Maybe like in the 2030s.
Okay. Well,
other stuff. Sorry, I was taking a drink of coffee. I wasn't done. Other stuff for the future. I want to do songs where I bring local artists on from Bilton, Culpeper, Warrenton, maybe Manassas, all the way out to Markham. And I want to bring these basically the local hip-hop towns around here together and do either a cypher or do features. But I just have to figure out how to put that together as well. And I want to like give back to a bunch of Bilton artists here, artists and producers, because there's a lot that have sprung up in the last 3 years, specifically since 2023. A whole bunch have popped up around here, and I want to give those people some shine. I want to work with them because I'm the biggest artist in Bilton, which is not really saying much because not a lot of people live here. And the most famous person from this town is Wyatt Teller, who is a football offensive lineman that practically nobody knows, but all of us around here know him. He's like the most famous person from here. And we're going to try and put some more people on from this area and try and make some names. And whether I end up growing my name out of it, I don't care. I want to grow some of these other artists. I want to give back to my town. I want to give back to my people. I want to give back to the people I know. I want to give back to my friends. I just want to put my city on.
Well, all right.
You know?
Thank you so much, Stephen. This was so much fun. Thank you for. I like the
very fun.
I like the unstructured. We
your questions were great.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot.
Why don't you take some time to say something about your channel so the people know what you do as well? Because I don't want you to just be the host guy. I want them to know what you do too.
Well, I have been operating multiple channels for over 15 years now. I'm a content creator over on the YouTubes. I work on such things as anime and manga reviews. We go in depth. We really talk about the psychology behind characters and themes and the writing and stuff. It's a pretty fascinating deep dive into the art that Japan has. And sometimes we do some music stuff as well every now and again, if it is pertinent. So that's me.
He is quite the guitarist.
That's, people tell me that all the time. I also play bass as well. But Stephen, thank you so much for this. This was so much fun. I like having this unstructured sort of look into your life rather than doing the usual, which is, when you release a new album, we get together, we do something.
Yeah, we haven't done one of these in a while. We ought to do some more of these coming up.
Yeah.
I just really like the whole concept here, and the way this thing came together. Just as a little behind the scenes, I just kind of hit Ben up last Saturday. I was like, hey, bro, I put out a lot of stuff this year. You want to do an interview? I'll give you $50. And we did it. So Ben has been my best internet friend for a very long time. I met him when I was 15 through the Let's Play subreddit Skype chat. And shout out to Mike Warlance for starting that group. We wouldn't have met otherwise, and we would probably not be where we are today. So yeah, we've been rocking for a long time together, and I'm really glad that we're still able to come together and make content, and we're still best buds. So it ain't gonna change anytime soon.
Well, here's a call to action for everyone. Go check out Trademark-S over on Spotify as well. I think his best album is World Trade Show, so go check that one out especially.
A lot of people say that.
Great album.
My favorite album of mine is, are you prepared?
I am.
I'm not a famous rapper, I'm Steve. It's so self-aware.
Well,
I know I'm not famous.
Well, thank you everyone for coming, and I hope to be back again in the near or late future with another interview with Stephen. Thanks everybody for coming out.
We all love you.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Lots of love.